Hello, this is Mixers Pro, and we're going to go over the fifth batch of zoopedia batches. Now, what the transit is making me showing off how many words. Well, we should see. It's pretty cool. Well, but I'm not going to video on that since I wouldn't have that much to say, and plenty of people would have done video about, and I'm going to just focus on the zoopedia range. So these, which it's actually mostly aquarium animals. So we've got the only fish batch, the African tigerfish, or common African tigerfish for its full name. I'm not sure why it's near. It's pretty rare. It's a pretty rare thing in captivity. It's something else, but I think I would really want a South American freshwater fish at this stage. The black tip fisher, which is very sentient, the zoo. Before we release, and we get a proper look at it. So as an ad that was already confirmed as day one, but then still later on. And then we got the traditional pair of exhibit animals, the all returning ones, which really not a fan of. I'm really desperate for new ones. And the boa constrictor, which is this one would be saved for a DLC or a free update. So I think maybe because they're sort of high requested, well known and more interesting things than this. This is just your standard constrictor. But I will also not fan the fact that sort of left the model won't change, even though most people aren't a fan of it. Most don't really think about the models of the exhibitors that much. Don't care about them, but I think it's all good about the people that aren't a fan of the burger shoe, to include me, because the texture weird, the hair is weird as well. It's in a larger exhibit box, but they really should have given the burger a totally new model, and it's a bit baffling that so changing of it was model's not that isn't good, yet they went out of the way to give the actual a new model, even though the model didn't really need changing. And then we've got Snugarial. So this is there's both base game crocodiles submitted to Planet Zoo 2. Why? None of that really needed to be brought back, especially at launch. I mean, this isn't a Delta Ford wouldn't make it to Planet Zoo 2 because it's pretty rare captivity. It's not a counterpart would me to think of, and I feel like could have put the full Scario in here instead, which is more and there's a good amount of people that's wanting it. But Scario originally I think was the worst crocodile to one, worse than the saltwater crocodile because of the coloration being accurate and and it pretty much to the other crew it's meant to be more unique than that. With the model, they definitely changed the model, which I'm not sure it's. But they made it that coloration's a bit more accurate in comparison, but it's meant to be a lot thinner than this. Then we move on to the Gila monster, so that I was expecting to make it by 2-1 Swarm. I did expect would make it to the base game, with it being common North American reptiles and common sighting of reptile houses and desert houses, and just nearly all the turning zoopedia was the models being left unchanged, but unlike with some the Black Restrictor, it actually does make leave the model unchanged, since it is, it's my favorite base game exhibit now. Jen, this felt surprisingly accurate at the especially for a base game animal. It's got the different so good predisposing on a dog, something like that. It's the changes to the face, but it's still still a great model. Then we move on back to the fish, which gets to be able to mention it. What that was teased last week, the red lionfish. Which this was an obvious choice for the game. It is one of my striking, recognizable fish. Toxic species, and it's also a common sighting in captivity. Then the model looks pretty good as well. So able to tell. And then with the two aquarium owls, they're both at the which it wasn't exactly certain which species it was. But it was expecting. So it got the schooling patternfish, which was the best called fish, but it was still of the higher species, but it's Difrutus, which is also referred to as the full smorashide, or in a sense uses comparison patternfish or goldfish tend to be confused with the morashide, or but I would have preferred if they did go for the parrot goldfish, since that is definitely more common than the species. Yeah, and then also got the reveal of what species this is meant to be. Specifically, it was the spotted eagle, right? But it wasn't certain which species it was. I think it was a referred to as this Atobatus norinari, which is the main species with the name spotted eagle ray. But this has been revealed to be Atobatus oscillator. So, which is more commonly referred to as the oscillated eagle ray, and that is, and which I think this was the species chosen. If that is the most commonly kept species of eagle ray in captivity, I still would have preferred it if had the counters were prioritizing the species. I'm really hoping we get along with as species of stingray, since you're more likely to see those types of rays than the eagle ray. It's and then we got another antelope in compared to the springbok, which I honestly thought wouldn't make it to Plateau 2 because, well, it's another base game. So, and most people don't really care that much about it, and since it tends to be confused with the Thompson's gazelle. It's It's also a rare sighting in captivity, but as it turns out, it did end up having the spring book. And first impressions wise, not really model here now. That's the original. It was in line with a lot of the base game animal. So the texturing not being the best. But while the texturing, I can already say, is the preference, the coloration wise, to be honest, unless it's just the lighting, it seems like a massive downgrade. So I guess, source coloration, they're usually nowhere near as muted as this. That is, I do think the original had a more accurate coloration, to be honest. It's meant to be a much brighter coloured species of antelope. So there we go. So it's nice. I will say it's nice to see more fish be. Well, we got two entirely new fish, which is nice. Even the red lionfish is an obvious choice. I would have preferred if we got a different waterfish confirmed. That's the others with specs. So we now got full confirmation of what species these are specifically. This is the horse Shidle, and this is the ocellated eagle ray. But for the rest of these are returning animals. We got another pair of that say that my you're not getting them. Okay. It's very strict by saying this, but can you please show off an entirely new Excel channel, for fuck's sake? I'm really sick and tired of all these returning Zerodals. Most of them aren't really worth bringing back. The only ones that really needed to be brought back with the Ashalot and Gila monster, and in terms of the other examples in the first game, so the regular ones, the only ones I feel like are bring back are the Green Iguana, which I think should be upgraded as haven't tenable. Red-eyed treefoil, just simply because of how iconic it is, and I think at least one of the species of tarantula, so maybe two of them. But other than that, I think some of these exhibits should really be reserved for the 2 or 3 updates and prioritize entirely new exhibit animals that have been highly requested ever since the first game was released. Let's say about the 5th batch of zoopedia entries, so we'll have me.